I want to welcome everyone who is here and thank you for showing up to be a part of this live transmission. It is February 10th, 2024, here in the Northern Hemisphere and the Southern Hemisphere as well. And of course, it's already February 11th across the date line. So we are in the Chinese New Year. And it is the year of the dragon. And we've been hearing this, it's all over everywhere. And I recognize that it is time for the dragon consciousness to come back into the awareness of humanity. And I was sitting there in meditation this morning, and I'm like, okay, I know we're getting much more along the ascension timeline, but I went back and looked at what years were the year of the dragon, because I personally was born in the year of the dragon. So I am a dragon according to the Chinese calendar. And as I started to look at that, I kind of giggled because I was born in 64, and then there was 1976, which was the bicentennial. So that was where humanity's focus was for a year date, right? That was the special thing about 1964 in the U.S. 76 in the U.S. in my consciousness. I'm not sure about the rest of the world. And then we moved into 1988 and have no memory of that year at all. And then the next one was 2000. And then the next year of the dragon was 2012. And then, of course, here we are in 2024. And as I've really tapped into what I believe is coming for this year in the year of the dragon and the awakening and the awareness that is coming, I kind of laughed. So if we go back to the year of the dragon in 2000, and all of us, I'm assuming, remember quite well that ball drop on New Year's Eve, the Gregorian calendar New Year, because there was all the hype about the year 2000 and what it was going to do to the digital computers. And do you guys remember all of that hoopla? And it was, man, it was so putting fear into everything, and all of the IT people were working overtime, and we flipped over to 2000 and it was a non-event. Remember? And all of that hoopla, it was like, what an illusion. All that fear, all that angst, and it really had no real impact. And if it did, the IT people figured it out long before, right? So then we moved to the next year of the dragon, which was 2012. And if we all sit back and remember, oh so well, 2012 was all about December 21st, 2012, and the Mayan calendar saying it was the end, right? And all of the angst and fear and belief systems, and especially in the spiritual world, right? In the New Age, all of that hoopla that was in the year of the dragon. Yeah, it was at the end of that year, but that's where the spiritual consciousness was. And then by the time we rolled around to October, November, December, everybody was talking about it, right? Because it was such a huge Mayan prophecy. And it was a Mayan prophecy based on an obsolete timeline. So here we sit in 2024. And I look back at, of course, 2000 and 2012 and go, wow, all of the illusion in the mass consciousness that was false and taken apart, right? Everybody in 2012, it's the end, and we're going to poof, go into 5D, and we've ascended, and the earth has ascended. I mean, I remember all this because I was, I had already started this business. And it was such an illusion that everybody had bought into. And here we sit, 2024, another year of the dragon. And as I have been preparing and looking at the energy and thinking about this call and downloading, and I've said, even before we were talking about the Chinese New Year, when we were going into the Gregorian New Year, it was all about major breakthroughs this year. I can feel major breakthroughs in the consciousness. And of course, now we're sitting at the year of the dragon, and the dragon is so prevalent in especially the new age spiritual consciousness uh, arena, right? Everybody's talking about dragons. Everybody's talking about this, that, and the other around dragons. So it is kind of interesting and apropos, I think, that 2024 and what we're moving into is another year of the dragon, and the shift, the release of, the breakthrough of old belief systems and illusions that humanity, mass consciousness, and the spiritual light worker consciousness groups have bought into, and the breakthrough of illusions that is coming this year for many. And I also believe there's many other breakthroughs coming through around really starting to understand and tap into higher consciousness. And I absolutely 1000% think that the illusion of the old reality, governments and cover-ups and everything that's been going on right below the surface that humanity really hasn't wanted to see for the most part, is going to be brought to the surface, and those illusions are going to be shattered in a lot of respects. Not all of them, but it's going to be a year to remember when the mass consciousness starts to break through the illusions that have been going on, and there's whole new levels of understanding of what this reality really is. So it's exciting on a lot of fronts. And when I thought back to the last two previous dragon cycles and what happened in those years and how it really was, so much that was believed, and then, oh wow, that was all illusion, wasn't real. We're going to be moving through that on a collective layer, but also in the spiritual world, okay, in this genre, where the understanding of what the dragons are, the understanding of what that really is talking about, and how that will propel and make a pathway to break through and shatter some of the really ingrained spiritual teachings that are coming from the false white light matrix, that are not real. They are beautiful illusions that have been a part of our consciousness, the way that things have been presented and brought through. And so it's going to be a really exciting year as the dragon energy comes more fully into the consciousness. And again, I believe it is the consciousness of all of those souls on the planet that are waking up to their spirituality or their higher consciousness. I don't even like to call it spirituality anymore, because it really is an ascension. It is about the ascension itself and tapping into wisdoms that have been hidden, truths and knowledge which have been distorted and deliberately messed with to keep consciousness locked down to a certain level of understanding. In other words, keeping us out of our own empowerment as divine beings of light, needing no authority outside of ourselves to tap into the magnificence of source energy and how that emanates through us. And so it's a really exciting time, a very exciting year to be stepping in and a breakthrough. And I really loved when I found the image of the banner for this particular activation with the dragon egg cracking open. It was so perfect. I'm very visual. So when I found that, it was like, how perfect to begin to understand and break through even more of the illusions that have been playing out and stepping into our true divine nature and our own quantum selves as really incredibly, uh, what's the word I want to use? If you're listening to me, you are an incredibly advanced being of light here to usher in the ascension process of unlocking us from all of the distortions and illusion in the game of separation and duality. So, with that, I want to really ask you to open up your heart and open up your consciousness to start to begin to move beyond the current understandings of what the dragons are. I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, each and every one of you is a dragon, and a dragon multiple times over. And it's not the fire-breathing dragons that are, flying around in the mystical, although in higher levels of frequency bands, they are able to take form in a physical form. But the dragon and the dragon consciousness that I believe is trying to really come forward is the understanding that it is the format, the template for the light architecture. Take a breath with that. Let that really sink in. It is the template of this particular multiverse. This particular multiverse was designed on a template that resembles the form of what we think of as dragons. So if you were able to zoom out very far in this particular galaxy, actually you'd probably have to go further out than that to really see it as a concept that I'm trying to get through. But the planet in which we are blasting through the cosmos on, this planet Earth, is an emerald dragon. And she is nestled, and it's a Russian doll concept, right? She is a dragon within a larger dragon, which is the solar system, which is a larger dragon that is the galaxy, which is a larger, and there's all the dragons within the galaxies of all the solar systems in the Milky Way, right? And then you can dial down even further because it is the template. And so everything in this experience is designed on a template that to you and I and what we understand at this level looks somewhat enough to look like a dragon. And so for those of us who have always loved dragons, for those of us who have had an affinity towards them our whole lives, not the fire breathing one that was inverted and tried to scare us, uh, but the dragon levels that, or the dragon awarenesses that we have, there's a deep, deep, deep recognition and knowing. Because you are, when we talk about all the fractals of consciousness that you are playing through, everything dialed all the way down to, your pencil or coffee cup. What puts that into form? It is light and sound. It's a morphogenic field, and as you look at it from different perspectives, it's a dragon template. And so, as we move into this particular year of the dragon, as far along on this ascension process as we are, it is time to bring that deep, innate knowing into a level of understanding that you are a dragon thousands of times over. Because you exist throughout in all these fractal expressions. The one sitting here listening to me in a human body form at this point being just one aspect of yourself that is playing out across the universe and beyond. And so as we enter the year of the dragon, and that dragon consciousness begins to expand in your innate knowing, having that framework. Yes, you are not every dragon, but you're not just one either. And ultimately, we all Russian doll into the highest template, which we call Source, who in this particular experience decided dragons was the template to create upon with the light and the sound. So I hope this helps to expand your understanding and understanding that you, as much as you are a divine being of light, as much as you are an angelic human, as much of you are a Sophia Christed soul, you are X, Y, and Z, whatever that is, you are also dragon. It is the primordial underlying template of creation in this multiverse. And so as you can relate, open up your awareness, your consciousness, to allow that remembrance, allow that awareness to begin to surface, it will allow even further expansion and breakthroughs as you embody that wisdom, you embody that knowledge, and you begin to embody more and more, which has been the process, right? We are taking all of the aspects of ourselves that are playing out throughout both the dark and the light side of this beautiful game of separation, and embodying it through this particular bodysuit on this particular planet that we refer to as Earth at this level, to integrate the totality of who you are. And as we do that, this particular bodysuit of the human moving back into the crystalline, back into the angelic human blueprint, back into the Christos, and the Christos Sophia, and the crystalline in the crystalline, the C and the K of both of those, and all those levels. Again, the foundational blueprint is a dragon. So as we go through this beautiful year, I do believe as that consciousness and that awareness continues to come into your, I want to say psyche, I'm not sure that's the right word, but as it starts to become a more integral part of your awareness and understanding, as simply that is the template, that is the underlying, more and more of the illusions of the outer reality that are still playing out in distortion are going to be able to break for you. And as I've always said, and I continue to say, I've been saying this for decades now, the ascension is about a shift in your perception. It is the light coming into the cellular structure and the way in which that shifts your ability in a physical form to perceive beyond what has been your perceptions before. And so this is why the light body and the changes that are happening in the physical body are what will allow you to perceive the new reality while we're still sitting in the same location, right? As we awaken and our body comes back into the original blueprint, as we move out of the carbon base and into the crystalline, as we wake up and reactivate our light bodies as well as our physical bodies, our ability to exist in the new paradigm, right? The new ascended levels of consciousness where the person sitting down 3 rows from us at the movie theater, not that we'll be there, but just to give you an idea, may not perceive what you see at all. It is the way in which the light coming through your body presents the shift in the reality around you. And so as the dragon consciousness, as that awareness begins to expand more within your consciousness, within your heart, that's opening up another level for you to shift and perceive higher states of consciousness or frequency bands beyond the current wavelength that we're seeing in the body that we are in now. And that was a really long explanation about why I think the dragon, the year of the dragon in 2024, and how our experience and knowing of that baseline template, I mean, really, it is the primordial template. And I kind of always giggle. It's like, okay, let's explain that one more way. The multiverse that we are in right now has the template of dragons. The multiverse next to us, if you will, perceptively, that's just a way to describe it. That might be based on a template of, I don't know, starfish. And another multiverse might be on a template of, I don't know, maybe a flower. Take that in, just take a breath. So what we're talking about, and I know those were weird expressions or examples, but just wanting you to understand, it's the template in which everything we're existing in this multiverse is based upon. So you know it well. It is so ingrained in the experience. And that is what 2024 is about. Moving into whole new levels of understanding what that is, what that means, and how the ascension process continues to unfold. Hi, I'm Raquel, and I am an ascension guide, helping you to awaken and remember your quantum self. I provide a holistic, multifaceted, and comprehensive approach to your awakening and ascension, bringing you to the cutting edge of consciousness while expanding your ability to live multidimensionally. You are a divine, sovereign being of light, and it's time to remember. Explore my website, raquelspencer.com, to learn about becoming your quantum self.